Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brandy Poplin, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about a historic natural disaster that struck the United States 5 years ago. On August 28, 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck the U.S. coast with a devastating effect. Hurricane Katrina is the most costly natural disaster ever to strike the United States and is one of the most deadly, only being topped by the Galveston hurricane in 1900 and the Lake Okeechobee hurricane in 1928. Economist and crisis consultant Randall Bell stated that Hurricane Katrina in 2005 was the largest natural disaster in the history of the United States. Preliminary damage estimates were well in excess of $100 billion, eclipsing many times the damage wrought by Hurricane Andrew in 1992. The death toll is now estimated at 1,833 people, with several hundred people still classified as missing. Hurricane Katrina formed over the Bahamas on August 23, 2005, and crossed southern Florida as a Category 1 hurricane. As Hurricane Katrina made its way through the Gulf of Mexico, it ramped up to a Category 5 hurricane, packing winds of near 175 miles an hour. President George W. Bush declared a state of emergency on August 27th for areas of Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. On August 29th at 7:10 a.m., Hurricane Katrina made landfall in southern Louisiana as a Category 3 hurricane with a maximum wind speeds near 125 miles an hour. Hurricane Katrina caused severe destruction along the Gulf from Florida to Texas, much of it due to storm surge. The most severe loss of life and damage to property was in New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans flooded because of a breach in its levee systems, and in many cases, hours after the storms had moved inland, the levees failed. Eventually, 80% of the city became flooded, and large tracts of neighboring parishes flooded as well. Floodwaters lingered for weeks in these areas. Flooding following the passage of Katrina was catastrophic, resulting in the displacement of more than 250,000 people, a higher number than during the Dust Bowl years of the 1930s. Damage to homes and businesses left both Louisiana and Mississippi crippled. The hurricane left an estimated 3 million people without electricity. On September 3, 2005, Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff described the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina as the worst catastrophe or set of catastrophes in the country's history. At the time Katrina hit the U.S., my husband was working for Pike Electric as a lineman. According to a press release from Pike Electric on September 1, 2005, Pike had approximately 2,800 crew members, supervisors, and support staff involved in restoration efforts in the Gulf. My husband was one of them. He worked in the Gulf for about 4 weeks, restoring power to hurricane-ravaged areas. Because of the total devastation and destruction, workers were forced to sleep in their trucks, on the ground, or wherever they could find a place to lay their head. The problem with sleeping on the ground in Louisiana is fire ants. Several of the line crewmen found themselves in nests of fire ants on occasion, and apparently they have a very painful sting, I'm told. Another pest problem they encountered is not unexpected. What do you get when you have standing water everywhere you look? Mosquitoes, big mosquitoes. Apparently mosquitoes the size of your head. Bug spray was definitely a hot commodity in that area. A more serious story he tells me about is that after several days of working, when they finally restored power to a hotel somewhere in Texas, the crews were finally going to have a bed to lay their heads on at night. But to his surprise, when he walked into his room, my husband's heart sank. When he walked in, he found clothes scattered about the hotel room, children's toys and stuffed animals laying everywhere. Due to evacuation orders and people having to leave so quickly, many of them had to leave all of their belongings behind. Seeing this made him realize how lucky he was just to have a warm, dry place to lay his head at night, when so many others had lost everything and were homeless after the storm. My husband was so happy when he finally returned home. No more fire ants, no more mosquitoes, and no more working waist-deep in water. Unfortunately, a natural disaster is something that cannot be stopped, but only prepared for. Hopefully, the next time something like Katrina is headed our way, we will be more prepared and ready to deal with it. Thank you very much for your attention today. Have a great day.